Hi everyone, Claire from Green Schools here. I'm going to show you guys today some really easy ways to try and look for insects or other invertebrate like woodlice, centipedes, millipedes and so on. So today is quite a nice day out weather-wise, and lots of these ground insects that we're going to start off with are going to be hiding under things. So things like flower pots, logs, wood, piles of leaves, under cracks and crevices are all really good places to try and find them. So you have to be quite quick, because a lot of times if you lift something up and there is an insect underneath it, it's going to try and move away as soon as it's exposed to the light. So a good way to do this is in partners or groups, and have one person lift up the object and the other person ready to try and see what's underneath it. I've brought a little container outside with me, just like this, to try and just for a couple of seconds put in the creature that I find, so I can show you what it is. If you are going to try and collect an insect or invertebrate, make sure that you put it back afterwards where you found it, and be really gentle with anything that you collect. And the other thing is, I've just given this a quick clean because it was a little bit sticky, so make sure there's nothing in your container that the insect is going to get stuck in. Okay, so let's have a quick look and see what kind of places are best for these ground insects. So I'm going to start off by looking under some large plant pots by just tipping it back a little bit and having a peek underneath. Now these plant pots were moved here quite recently, and because of that there's nothing underneath. Insects haven't had a chance to get established there, and it could also be due to the fact that they're out quite in the open. So next place I'm going to look is under this big bag of compost. I know it's been sitting in place for quite a while. It's in a corner. It's under some, beside some other kind of untidy areas, so it's a little bit better. So I can see some woodlice moving, and to try and collect one, all I do is I place the container on its side in front of the direction that the woodlouse is moving and gently guide it in. So here we can see a woodlouse moving around. It's using its antenna to explore the area, and a woodlouse is a good example of something which is not an insect but which is often put in that group. Woodlice are actually crustaceans, which includes things like lobsters, which is maybe not what you'd expect. So once you've had a good look at it, you can return it to where it was, and to do this I just turn the container on its side and allow the woodlouse to walk out. So once it's back in that area, I'm going to put back the bag of compost where it had been. So I don't want to kind of affect the home that the creatures had at all. So put everything back exactly as you found it, and make sure you do that gently. Try not to just drop it from a height. So again, I'm going to try moving another bag of compost. This one has been there for a really long time. You can see there's all mud caked under it, and you see when I lift it up and the creatures are exposed to that light, they try to move away. They try to go to the crevices and underneath things like leaves. So here we had tons of life. We have lots of woodlice again. We have some different types of worms. We also have got a yellow burrowing centipede. If you can see it there on the right beside that large worm, it's sort of half underneath the mud there. So here I decided not to put anything in my container. Everything is kind of firmly established in that mini habitat, so I don't want to disturb them. But do have a look, and then again put the bag back where it was. So next up I'm going to look in this area here. We have again a really untidy area, lots of twigs and sticks, and they're on top of a big concrete slab. So when I lift this up again, I see lots of movement. So we've got lots of woodlice, we've got some centipedes, again trying to get away into the crevices. So that's a different species of centipede to the one we saw before. Those are brown centipedes. I just put my camera down because I spotted a ground beetle that I wanted to collect. So these are a good example of an insect. You can see they've got their 3 distinct body parts, their 6 legs, their antenna. So if you do collect an insect like this, maybe try and sketch it or take a photograph so you can put it into our recording sheet and really get a chance to note its features and its characteristics, and then allow it to go back where you found it. You'll see as soon as you put it back in, it will start to move much quicker probably than it was when you collected it. The other thing is, when you do lift something up, look at its surface. So you might find creatures on there, oftentimes things like slugs and things like ants and wood lice again. And then last place to look for me this time was underneath some ledges. So I'm looking under the kind of the top of a wall here, but you can also check under pillars, under windowsills, anywhere that provides a bit of shade. So I had quite a lot of garden snails there. And again, try and inspect them as closely as you can. Notice the differences between one thing and maybe the creature you saw earlier. So snails, again, not an insect, it's a mollusk. So best of luck with your bug hunt. Make sure you bring a spotter sheet with you to help you identify any insects seen.